Welcome to the Irreplaceable Dental Assistant Podcast, brought to you by Dame. Dental Assisting Made Easy. This is a safe space to be mentored, empowered, energized, and equipped. Welcome to another episode of the Irreplaceable Dental Assistant. And today we're going to be talking about the little ones, our children. You know, many parents unknowingly create fear in children. It's quite common that in preparing their children, words like "be brave" or "it's nothing to be scared of" are used. The children may not associate going to the dentist with the need to be scared or brave, but if a patient had a bad experience in the past, they can project their fear to their children without being fully aware. The words they use, the nonverbal cues that they may give off as they're preparing for going to the dentist or while in the dental office. Children pick up on those cues. So we encourage parents not to prepare their children for a dental visit. Let me say that again. We discourage parents from preparing their children for a dental visit. We say, allow the team to answer any questions that the children may have once they've arrived in the office, because we know that there's certain buzzwords that we want to use, and there's certain words that we certainly wish to stay far from. For example, we want to emphasize the need to have nice, clean teeth that are healthy, that keeps their smiles looking good and their mouth smelling fresh. We do not, under any circumstances, want parents to threaten their children by telling them that they're going to get a shot if they don't behave. So we are very intentional in the dental office about, even if we're speaking about giving anesthetic and it requires a syringe, aka the shot, we're going to word it in such a way that we're actually describing what we're doing. Let me give you an example. A child is sitting in the chair and they need to get anesthetic for a tooth. And the first thing we're going to do is dry the area and put on some topical anesthetic. So we're going to say things like, okay, you have a boo-boo in your tooth today and we have to get it fixed. But we want to make sure that you are as comfortable as you can possibly be. So the first thing that I'm going to do, and you share with the child what you're doing, because the worst thing, the most frightening thing is when you're not sure what's going to happen next. You're in an environment where you're not necessarily comfortable. It's one that you don't go to all the time. You see all these strange things around you. And so the fear of the unknown can be a real problem for our children. So let me get back to my scenario. We're going to explain to the child that we're going to dry the area and we're going to put on some jelly. But it's not the kind of jelly that you put on your bread. It's a special kind of jelly. And it may feel or taste a little strange, but we're going to use Mr. Thirsty, which is a suction, to take out any water, any taste in your mouth. And I literally ask my dental assistants to stay there and to keep the area dry and to ensure that that topical stays where we want it. If that dental assistant puts the topical on, loads up the mouth with cotton rolls, and turns her back to do other things, you don't know if that area is going to be flooded out with saliva. And if it is, then that topical anesthetic does not work as effectively. So I literally ask my dental assistants to sit down and hold the topical in place and maintain a dry field where the topical is. We warm our dental carpules so that even if our children are going to get anesthetic, we want it to be as comfortable as possible. So the topical has been on for a while. In our dental office, we use the smallest gauge possible, depending on where we're working on in the mouth. Most times, we can use a 30 gauge needle because most times we can infiltrate. That means put anesthetic right by the tooth that we're working on. And so topical being held in place for 2 to 3 minutes, by the time I get to that patient and I have a 30 gauge needle engaged in a syringe and the carpule has been warmed slightly to just mimic body temperature, I can gently inject that anesthetic in, and the patient is comfortable. And as I'm going to give that anesthetic, I will explain to them that I need them to close their eyes so, we don't get any of this solution in their eyes, because it's going to put the area to sleep, and we don't want their eyes to go to sleep, just the tooth. This is for younger children, obviously. For older children, 12 and older, we can negotiate what we're doing. And in general, every personality is different. But in general, this is the language we can use to the younger children. Close your eyes and you may feel a little pinch, or you may not feel anything at all. But the important thing is not to move, because if you move, then I can't guarantee that it's going to be comfortable. Invariably, they cooperate. They do what you ask them to do, and when you're finished, you say, well, I'm finished, but I'm just going to hold my finger here to make sure that the medicine goes in all the way, and then I'm going to put you up so you can rinse out your mouth and wash out that yucky taste. So we have shared as we're going along exactly what the child should expect without using those words that will automatically bring about anxiety or fear in the child. Now, when we're talking about an initial visit or a first visit, I generally do not plan to do anything other than allow the child to get accustomed to what is in the room, how the chair works, what the instruments are on the bracket table and what each one is for. And depending on the child and the level of anxiety, we can demonstrate in the patient chair, or we can demonstrate as the patient sits in her or his parent's lap in the dental chair. Whatever is going to make that child feel comfortable. I generally ask that my assistants put everything in place before the child is seated. Because, watching somebody put strange things on the tray before it's explained to you can be nerve-wracking if you don't know what to expect, or if your mom has already told you to be brave, or if your aunt threatened you last week with giving you a shot if you don't behave. So having everything in place before the child sits for treatment, for a demonstration, is extremely important. Now, demonstrating how things work on areas other than the mouth decreases the child's level of anxiety. For instance, many times we'll put water in a cup and then we'll show how well the saliva ejector or the soft suction works when we put it into the water and the child is able to see that the water level is going down because the suction is taking some of that water out. And then we talk about Mr. Thirsty, which is the big high vacuum suction that will remove that water from that cup at twice the speed. And sometimes I'll say to the kids, and if you're really good, it will give you a little kiss. And I just tap the cheek with that high vacuum and they feel that suction on and off, and that's it. When we're looking at scalers or instruments that we use to clean teeth, oftentimes I'll just pick up their fingernail and show them that the scaler rubbed against that fingernail does not hurt. And I'll let them know that this is similar to what will happen when we use this instrument on their teeth. So we're kind of proving to them that these instruments, although they look new and different and strange, we use them in such a way that they will remain comfortable. Listen, a cheerful, energetic, engaging dental assistant can really enhance a child's first visit. And it can turn around what seemed intimidating and frightening in a child to a visit that becomes a playful one filled with exploration. Treats and rewards at the end of each visit is like the icing on the cake, especially if we explain to them what they did to earn this treat. And that will be a great incentive for their next visit, because now they're going to work on doing those same things to repeat that gift-giving exercise to make sure that they get a treat at the end. Now, you and I know that the more frequently we do things, the less intimidating they become, until they become second nature, or some things that we don't even think about. Same thing for children. The more frequently children visit the dentist, the more normal and the less intimidating a visit will feel. Firstly, because the more you do something, the less threatening it feels. But secondly, because children who have regular dental visits have fewer cavities, so the visits are more comfortable. They're rewarding. There are many, many children in my practice. They look forward to coming to the dental office. In fact, they'll remind their parents that it's time to go and have their teeth cleaned, or it's time to visit the dentist. A dental assistant who understands how to make children comfortable in a dental office is a definite asset to the office. He or she can set the tone for the visit, so by the time the dental hygienist or the dentist is ready to care for that child, they're already relaxed and settled and ready for treatment. Every great office has a child whisperer. Someone who is great with kids and knows just what to say and do to make their visit fun and enjoyable. I wonder, could that be you? Charles Swindoll says, each day of our lives we make deposits in the memory banks of our children. Oh my goodness, that is such an awesome quote. Let me repeat it. Each day of our lives, we make deposits in the memory banks of our children. So let's be deliberate about creating great memories for the children that we serve in our dental offices. So my child whisperers, we've just had a great session talking about some very basic, simple things that we can do to make the difference in a child's dental visit. We can create lifelong, fond memories. And isn't that what we want? We want to make sure that when our children start out, their first visit is great. And it just keeps getting awesome to the point that they never want to miss a dental visit. And that means that we're more likely to have someone from childhood to adulthood with great oral health habits, who comes regularly, who is not intimidated by the dental chair, and just overall has a great dental experience. And we as dental assistants and dentists can make that happen. Because you know what? We are better together. Blessings. I'll see you the next time.